We live.
Good morning, Bill. It's good to see you.
And Bill, good to see you too. How was your
I
day?
was yesterday was pretty good. I got did my daily post. I did really kind of a lot of busy work yesterday, honestly. A lot of moving around and blocking and tackling. So wasn't as impactful of a day as I wanted it to be. I probably got 2 hours of my 3 hours of learning done. So got that. Need to write my Sherpa today. Um, yeah, today's going to be kind of a catch up day for me on my task list. What about you?
So I got no responses on my asks on the tech side, uh,
Okay.
but I did 10 via call or polo because they were like pretty close friends, people that I thought
Mhm.
would be a better ask that way. So that went
Nice.
well. So I don't have any screenshots to show you. I did 5 via text and 10 via either polo or phone call. But as soon as I get one, we can break that down.
Okay. Cool.
Uh,
So
that was good.
you reached out to 10 people about hopping in the free group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. It's right. I had like 4 of 10 right away. Said, sure, sounds good. I've been looking for something to kind of really push me.
Okay. Cool.
So my rates on that look pretty good so far, but that's my close circles. So we'll see how that goes
Yeah,
when I move out.
absolutely. What's on the agenda for you today?
So I'm going to do 15 more asks today.
Okay.
And I'm going to try and do more text ones so I can develop my conversational game there.
Okay.
So I'll probably do all 15 via text today.
Okay.
And let's see. I had a lot of client work yesterday. So I was heads down for a decent bit of the day, but I got a ton done actually.
Good.
So it was a good day for me as far as work goes. I almost got caught up for missing a Monday yesterday on client work. So yeah, that goes.
Yeah, I do know how that goes.
Yeah.
I got some client work today. I've got to onboard a client with Melissa.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I need to do my reach outs. Yeah, today's gonna be a big day, I think, for productivity and getting stuff done because I've got a big window in the afternoon that's gonna allow me to get a lot of this stuff done, I think. So that'll be good.
That's good. I've got on Wednesdays or when I do my weekly check-in call with my accountability group
Okay.
at 9 a.m. So like my morning is interrupted pretty well from 9 to about 10:30, and I'd almost always end up with something that comes out of the call that I want to act on, just because there's so much going on in the call and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something else I need to kind of think about scheduling for Wednesdays. At this point I've almost given up any heads down work before noon, except before the call. So like I can do stuff from like 8 to 9 o'clock. I'll typically do client work or something I know it has to get done. But so I'm trying to figure out if I really want to bail till noon on Wednesdays, or if I want to find out a way to do more work. Just because Wednesdays always end up being busy for me, and
Same
it's not
here.
even a midweek thing. It's just like I end up doing so little work on Wednesdays, um, and that can be tough because it ends up making me want to work on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you like are you normally strong in the mornings as far as like being able to write and create content and stuff like
Yeah,
this? Okay.
by far.
So do you feel like on Wednesdays uh that you should be doing more of that before your group?
Yeah, I've been adjusting my morning schedule too,
Okay.
overall to bring it earlier and go to bed sooner, so that I can work more in the mornings. Because I tried the other way around because for a while I was a night owl. I think I kind of go back and forth. Um,
Yeah.
but I think mornings I'm strongest.
I feel the same way. I mean, that's a hard struggle transitioning from like the evening night owl person to a morning person. Um, I have fits and starts of doing it well, and then lots of fits and starts of doing it not well. So I hear you on that, buddy.
Yep.
Um,
I actually had a night job for a while at the Gaylord Texan. For about a year and a half, I was manager there, and I didn't even get off till 11:15, 11:30, because I was like the 3 to 11 manager.
oh wow.
Yeah. And so my schedule was like, I was going to bed at 1 because I wanted to get some stuff done when I got home and
Hmm.
get stuff off my mind. I've been thinking about all shift, and then, um, so yeah, I'm recovering from that because that's for the last job I had along with my side gig. So, but I'm back
Yeah,
to it. I went to bed at 10 last night. So
yeah, man. Uh, what's weird is Alice goes to bed semi late. She goes to bed somewhere around like 9:30 and 10 because of like no school and everything. So then that pushes mine and Melissa's time later. And so then what normally happens is, I kind of feel like in the space of wanting to go to sleep, but also wanting to hang out with Melissa. And so then what happens is I, fall asleep on the couch for a little bit and then I turn grumpy and then she'll have to nudge me and then I'll eventually get up. But it's not great sleep habits. I need to be more disciplined in my approach to, okay, I'm just going to go to bed, kind of deal. It's hard though, because she's definitely a night owl. And, you try to balance everything with that first relationship, being the most optimized as you can. So,
yeah, I saw your chat with she'll remain nameless at this point. Until he
yeah,
wants
the Arabian Night, if you
Arabian
will.
Night. There you go. There you go.
Yes.
Yeah, that was really good. I've been thinking about that too, with resetting family goals this year,
Yeah.
especially with things going on. Being like, all right, so what's really our goal in the next 5 years as a family, and then
Yeah.
start trying to line the work hours into to reach the family goal, not just my personal goals. So that was a really good conversation for me to hear too.
Yeah. So, for anybody who might be watching this, yeah, a friend of ours who's in our Discord channel, his screen name is Arabian Night, super cool guy, and he's doing some goal setting and everything. And he was talking about it with his wife, and him and his wife are sitting down to figure out their family goals, which is awesome, right? Like, and he was excited about it, and we were kind of talking about it, and he goes, "Is this a good thing?" And I was like, "Man, yeah. If you can get buy-in from like your partner about these things, and like they understand why it's important, man, like that's when good stuff starts happening."
Oh man, even if you don't completely align, just the fact that you have it all out there and you know what each other is really looking for,
Yeah,
then you can have better conversations that are less conflict because everyone knows where everyone stands, right? And it's funny
yeah,
how much of that we don't talk about,
yeah,
how much we focus on it in business. Well, some of us do,
yeah,
but not at all in your family. So
yeah. And it's crazy because we just kind of take it for granted that the other people around us like understand why we're working and the things that we're doing and why we work so hard at it and stuff. And that's just not the case, right? Like we don't communicate as well as we think we do out of the box, right? Like these are learned behaviors that we force ourselves to undertake and learn. But when you communicate and you can set goals, and then whenever things get weird and you have to work extra or maybe something out of the ordinary happens, you already got a foundation for going back to your family and saying, hey, like, this kind of sucks, but like this is how we're going to get to our goals, right? About like more traveling or whatever those goals look like. And just being able to communicate around that, I think, is really helpful and awesome. So
yeah,
good for you, Arabian Night.
absolutely. He's a good dude too.
Super
Uh,
cool, dude. Yeah, for sure.
okay, cool. Well, for today, I've got the 15 text asks I want to do.
Okay.
And then I also want to build out a social media schedule for myself.
Okay.
So that's going to be my challenge. I want to be able to show you that tomorrow.
Okay.
Social media schedule. And it's literally, here's where I'm posting, and here's kind of like the type of post I'm going to put up there. It's not going
Okay.
to be an actual post.
Awesome.
And then the promotion kind of little follow up that I'll do for each. So it'll be like 3 or 4 columns.
Okay. That's
Because
legit.
I got to get on that, because if I want to do value posts too, I have to schedule them. I can't rely on myself just to show up, and even
Yeah.
on buffer and stuff, unless I plan it beforehand.
I miss
Yeah,
or I almost missed the daily value post yesterday. It was probably like 1:30 in the afternoon. I was like, oh dang, I gotta go. I have to get this done.
right.
So it's cool that it's feeling like this thing that I'm compelled to do, right? As opposed to just this thing that like I know is kind of like an obligation. So that
Yeah,
to me is when the habit really starts to like show up as a habit and not just this thing that I'm being reminded to do.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Um,
And that's what habits will do for you, for sure, because you start seeing the value of it.
yeah.
um, the other thing is I've been really convicted, compelled of the fact that I'm really good at coming up with posts on the spot just because my brain's always going and I can always
Mm.
kind of come up with something that's relevant. And one of my friends who's really good at content, Fanny Dunnigan, some people might know who Fanny is. She teaches people how to do video for LinkedIn. She reminded me that if you want to write posts that are actually going like stuff I teach, if you want to write posts that are going to actually bring customers, not just people to go, that's an interesting post. You need to plan beforehand to the topic and the angle you want to take on it. So that when it comes, that message keeps getting out there. Otherwise you're just like being a medium writer,
Yeah.
who's like, like, wow, that guy's an awesome author, but I have no customers or money. So that's part of what my schedule is going to be like, is I'm going to talk about this topic on this way, this topic on this way.
Yeah. I do the same thing, right? Like, especially now at this point, I can sit down and crank out like a value post or a blog post. Like, it's not that difficult. And then I send it off to Melissa and she edits it and everything else. But I don't think I do a very good job of, on blogs specifically, getting people to say, oh, that's interesting. I need more of that, right? So maybe my blogs are a little too informational. I don't know. That's a pretty good idea. We don't really have any kind of overarching agenda whenever it comes to the content creation side of things, and maybe we should.
Yeah, a guy I like is he tells you to build your Marcus Sheridan, the sales line. I'm sure if you're familiar with him.
Mm-mm.
He's famous for taking a pool company like massive through content marketing because he addressed objections in his content. He addressed comparisons against other pool companies. He compared, he put FAQs about building a pool in your backyard, like all the things that people are going to do in their buying process. He just wrote
Mm-hmm.
content about it, one piece at a time. And he wrote this huge blog and he got really good at it. And so then people started hiring him to do it for all these different services. And so that's the kind of the approach I've always thought since I found him a while back. Now he's this huge trainer, right? He's a
Mm-hmm.
marketing guy, and he still has his businesses, but it's like you should start with writing content about the things your clients want to know right before they buy, right? Towards the bottom of the funnel, they're getting ready to start making a decision, make it easy for them to buy from you. Then work your way backwards to like the
I like that
information.
idea.
Because, top of the funnel, those people aren't ready. Why am I going to write for them yet if I haven't written for the bottom of the funnel yet? It's kind of always his thought process, which I loved. I'm like, gosh, it's so simple. But yeah, no, we just don't do that.
Yeah, I get caught up in trying to figure out what the earliest question could be, and then try to write around that topic because it's, like the toppest of top funnel, like how do we do that? But I like the idea of, okay, so what's one step before buying? Okay, they, in my world, they know that there's a problem, they're looking for a solution, they're not sure what that solution is. Okay, so at that point, maybe we start talking about like different CRM types, and then, okay, what are they going to ask before that, and then kind of going backwards that way. I think you probably get a better developed, funnel content wise doing it that way.
Well, and absolutely. And I think the thing I like about that too is you can never leave that if you don't want to. Like you don't have to go past the bottom to kind of mid funnel area. You could write about that all day because people don't see your stuff. Like unless you're boosting every day and you're paying for ads to get in front of the same people every day, and you write every day for 30 days, people might see 3 of your posts if you're lucky.
Yeah.
And so you can write about that for the rest of your life if you want, and the same people. And so what if they see it twice? Now they've seen your answer twice, 2 different ways, because you're not going to write or video the same way about the same problem every single time, especially guys like us, because we're going to find creative ways to find a new metaphor or interview somebody about it or, whatever.
And really the thing that I think about is a lot of these guys who, are at the levels, that I am trying to get to, they don't talk about too many different things, right? It's like the same 4 or 5 topics and stuff. And so I'm like, okay, interesting. So maybe I need to be going a little bit deeper and not trying to cover as much, but that's also hard for me because I like to cover a lot of ground.
Mhm. Well, one of the things I was talking to you about all year is about niching, right? I finally niched in content, in
Hmm.
particular in cause-driven organizations, but I help, whoever. But that's where I niched my marketing. But that's the same idea with content. I was like, you can't really niche your content until you niche your target market and your target problem. Then you can niche the 3 or 4 or 5 things that that they deal with, and you don't have to apologize for it. You can just
Yeah.
nail it home. And I think that once you become a content creator, um, and you kind of got past the beginning stages of like you understand how to format text so that it's engaging, and you know how to frame conversations with people so that they're interesting for other people to listen to. I think you start getting those things down. I think the next challenge is how can I be really creative with only 3 or 4 subjects, because these are the only 3 or 4 subjects I need to help people buy.
Oh, interesting.
It's kind of the next level of creativity, I feel like, because otherwise you just end up ethereal a lot of times, talking about concepts that tie into what you're selling, but they don't lay a path per se for people to go, oh yeah,
Interesting.
buy that from him. Um, that's where I'm at. That's where my head's at these days.
Huh. Have I told you about the goat herd test?
No.
So a friend of mine, Jeremy, who's also in our Discord group, he's got this copy test that he does, and if you can switch out the person, right, with goat herd, and the statement still makes sense, you are not specific enough towards your target market.
I love that.
I love that so
Wow.
much because, man, I heard that, and then I just thought it was a funny rule, and then I started like seeing that in my writing, being more specific, like speaking more to the target market and their problems and stuff. And I think that my writing has gotten better from it. But I love how simple of an idea that is. That's awesome.
I actually heard somebody say something similar, that put your own name when you're writing your copy in, and if it fits you, then it's not good enough yet, because you're not your target
Oh,
market.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, so same idea. I love it.
On the other side of that thing, so something that I've been kind of playing with is that if you're dealing with like imposter syndrome or anything else like that, write out the stuff that you do and take your name off of it.
Oh, did you put that in the group? I think I saw that somewhere recently.
Yeah, well, I talked about it on LinkedIn, actually, on Quentin's post, because
Yes, yes, yes.
um, I just think that we kind of did it by accident. Melissa was kind of struggling with feeling like a writer, and so we wrote out everything that she does as part of the team, and I was like, does that look like a writer? And she said, yeah. And it kind of stuck with me. So now sometimes when I'm journaling, I'll write out the stuff that I've done, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, I'm not a complete idiot. Okay, cool. So
Right, right. So James asking goat herd.
yes,
Yeah, goat.
goat herd, goat, like a person who herds goats.
A
And
herder of goats.
yes, and all their majestic robes.
And their staff and their
Exactly.
bread in their pocket for the day.
Yeah, staff of knowledge.
Okay. All right, cool, man. So my challenge for the day is to get my social media scheduled, screenshotted for you tomorrow, so you can see I did that, and then I'll capture one text ask conversation so we can discuss that as well. Maybe that's a Friday thing where
Yeah,
we can go through that.
okay, so real quick, right? Because we got to start our days. Are you using a scheduler for like recurring stuff at all, or is everything done by hand right now for you?
It's hand right now, but I want to use a scheduler.
Which one are you going to use? Buffer?
I've used Buffer forever. The only
Really?
place I won't use Buffer is LinkedIn.
Okay. Because like I've also heard that on Facebook now they're limiting outside schedulers because they want you to use theirs, and I'm like, okay, well,
It's true. No, it's true. They've killed them for years.
yeah,
But I'm to the point where I don't care. I need this stuff to go up every day, and I would rather spend my time promoting it places to get eyes on it than to rely on the organic reach. That or just pay for exposure. So actually, James is commenting here. I work with Quirk real closely. They're a partner, Quirk
hmm
Advertising, and we're looking at ways to create boost programs for content for people, because we've gotten good at figuring out what content people need to, like we're just talking about there, right? Is what people need before they buy. It's pay to play these days if you want volume, if you want to scale at all. And so we're looking at ways to very specifically boost stuff, and you post it organically and then you boost it and you don't rely on organic. It's tough these days. That's a whole nother conversation. I really think we're past the days of organic reach being able to sustain a business that's starting. unless you just happen to go on TikTok when it starts and your audience is there and you get all that free, you know, whatever attention. All the big ones, it's tough. It's a tough place to do that. You actually have to promote and tag people in and boost and all that stuff.
So do you think it's a bad idea to boost or monetize if you don't have a clear monetization at the end of it?
Yes, I think it's a waste of money.
Okay.
People do it. I'm not going to tell you not to do it. I mean, and if you're doing, I would rather you do that than nothing at all. But no, like the whole reason Quirks, we have like a prescription that we do for people. And the whole reason we do it that way is you need a website that says things that are going to make people buy. And then you need an email funnel in place so that when they get there, if they're not ready to buy, you can capture their email. And then you need to start building some content that's going to help people solve problems or objections that they have, you know, between the email list and in buying from you. Once you have that set up, it can be extremely minimal. It could be a one-page website and one nurturing campaign. And then you start building content. You can start boosting that content. That's fine. Because now you have a good buying website and a way to capture attention if they're not ready. But if you don't have that down, you don't have like a funnel of some sort. I'm beginning to hate the word funnel just because everyone sees it as Russ, you know?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. It's a way to funnel the people that are ready down into these things. Yeah, I think without that, you're because it doesn't take that long to get to that formula. Like we do it in 30 days. Anybody can do it in 30 days. They can build themselves a one-page website and get an email campaign up.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So let me ask you this question, right? Because my goals have been to get 5,000 on these 3 unique lists, right? Adaptive Growth, the Throwdown, and then John Small Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that not a good goal then?
Well, I think 5,000 is fine. It's just arbitrary, but there's nothing wrong with that because you don't have a better number.
That's
I think it's it might be overreaching to do 3 because until you can do it once, how do you know you can do it 3 times? Plus, it's the whole when you split attention,
sure,
you're losing focus in one. I'd pick the one that gets you the most business and focus on it first, and then I would like a groundswell as you kind of start to see some traction in the middle one. Like the one you're focusing on, you can take your learnings and start dumping them in the side ones. So it's not like you're waiting till this one has 5,000. You're like, oh, okay, I'm up to 1,000 here. And these type of posts seem to be working really well. I'm going to go write those type of posts for these 2 and just trickle those out now. But you talked with James about lead generators when you were on the show. I don't know a better way to gather emails. Like Brian Dean has some cool stuff. Like I like his content upgrades. That's one of my favorite things he does. You have a blog, right? And you're talking to people about how to do something. And that's actually my favorite way, besides lead generators, is like you're covering this concept in kind of a little bit of a long form, maybe 1,000, 1,500 word blog. And then you're saying, do you want me to do it for you? Or like, do you want my framework? Just download it here. So you're not asking them to go do a course or a PDF or whatever. You're like, you've read my blog, you've heard my concept, you like it. Do you want my cheat sheet? You know?
Okay.
So I like that as ways to generate emails.
Is he doing a thing to where you pay for that cheat sheet? Because a lot of Brian Dean's content in the past has always been free. Like, and then like, I don't know how the guy makes money, honestly. I mean,
consulting. He's a very, very high-end SEO consultant now.
Okay.
People I
don't ever see him
to come in.
I don't ever see him put out like offers, right? I mean, maybe we're just not like at his level, but
yeah. Well, and it's once again, like I've deeply considered that. Not ever telling people that you can hire me to come fix your business from a content and marketing standpoint until you've been through some of my content. Like you will just never know, because I want to vet people, or I want to, I want to take away the frame that you're going to get sold on the end of this. Just come in, let me teach you something. Let's work together a little bit on a small end project. And then if you like what I do, let's talk about working together on a deeper basis. But that's kind of anti-sales too, right?
A little bit.
The person goes, what? Huh? You're not going to tell me what you...
Yeah, I cringed a little bit, honestly, when you were like, yeah, I'm not going to tell them at all. And it's like, well, I mean, I think the important thing to look at is why, right? Because like, I think it's super easy for people to have, for lack of a better word, shame, right, around being a salesperson, right? It's this idea of, well, I need them to buy from me, right? Because like I was talking about this with somebody the other day. Like it's okay to it's okay to brag as a marketer, right? You see lots of brags, right? But you can't get away with that same stuff as like a sales guy. I feel like it's harder to brag about your accomplishments as a salesperson without looking like a complete douche.
Well, I think it's because the context, because most marketers are trying to sell to other marketers or people that are trying to market, and so then you need to believe that they can do what they're saying. Whereas salespeople, that the proof is in show me your close rate, which is
Yeah,
kind of similar. If you're going to hire a salesman, it's like great, brag all you want, but I need to see show me your close rate, like
yeah,
show me something. So I also don't think marketers should brag near as much as they do. I think it's okay to pat yourself on the back once you hit. So this is a whole nother conversation, right? But like the bottom line for me is if you have a goal that you're viciously chasing and you reach that goal, brag about it. Celebrate it.
yeah,
Otherwise, shut up. Do the work. Like if you want people to show how good you are, ask them to tell. Ask them to talk about you. There's no need for me to go out and brag about myself. I want my customers to brag about me.
yeah,
Unless it's something that I've been charging for. Once you hit that belt in jujitsu, dude, get out there and brag on it. Or
yeah,
whatever the goal is, right?
yeah. I don't know that it's weird because all of my all the ads I see now are like marketing and sales gurus trying to sell courses and stuff like that to sales and marketing people. Right?
Yeah.
That's every ad that I see, and it's so lifestyle focused it drives me up the wall, right? And it's just like, man, like I get that that's a version of marketing, but I feel like if you have to market at that level of just like the lifestyle stuff, you're not really doing anything impactful.
Yeah. I mean, we know the truth that 98% of influencers on the internet aren't making enough money to do it full time.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
it's a
true.
trend, in my opinion. So
Yeah. So do you think it dies off
yeah.
then? Okay.
Well, I think it's a human nature thing too. I think people that are lack confidence lean on braggadocio. So they won't go away, but yes, I
Yeah.
think it would be a prevailing trend. Necessarily, something else will come along.
Yeah.
To,
The new thing, the
yeah,
new shiny thing.
yeah. The next thing that's probably going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's why I like Seth Godin so much because Seth Godin is just always Seth Godin. He's like, just build a tribe, get 1,000 loyal followers. If it gets bigger than that, that's fantastic. But get a loyal tribe, and I can buy into that forever.
You know, I think I've only tried to read one of his books and didn't make it through. But like I've heard him on different shows. I've heard him on the Tim Ferriss show and everything else like this. I kind of don't get it. I kind of don't understand why everyone likes him so much as a marketer because I feel like he's kind of this throwback to an era where like marketing was a lot more nebulous than it is now. Right?
Well, but it's come all the way back around to the things he talks about, which is relational. It's like everyone's so overwhelmed by the quantity. People are really thirsty for personalization, access, as Gary Vee says, real relationships. Even automation's gotten to a point where people are like, I don't want any more automation. I want to just talk to somebody. Like, get me in front of a salesperson or whatever. So I think he's not the personality that's going to catch your eye because he's very low key.
Yeah.
But I think his concepts are hardcore foundational. Um, that's that sort of stuff. I think they're really
Maybe I need to
fantastic.
give that another look.
That's the time. Yeah,
Where
go read Tribes. That's the one you
tribes?
want.
Okay.
Yeah, or Purple Cow, or the Big Dip, or yeah.
Any of them?
Start with Tribes.
I think tribes is the one that I have actually. So
Okay.
we'll see.
Yeah.
What are you reading right now?
I'm between books. I just finished 16 Reasons People Fail.
Okay.
Maybe we can talk about that on the show at some point. That's a really good one.
Yeah. What are you going to read next?
I don't know. I literally finished yesterday, so I got to figure out what's going to go on there. Any suggestions? How about a sales book?
Yeah. You should read my favorite sales book, actually, that I always butcher the name on. So let me look it up real quick. It's by Patrick Lencioni.
Okay.
who
I like him.
is he's a pretty solid business writer.
I've
And
read his leadership stuff and I've seen him speak, but I don't know if I've read a sales book of his.
yeah, so there is a book he wrote called Getting Naked. It's a business fable about shedding the three fears that sabotage client loyalty. We'll put a link somewhere so that way if anybody wants to see it, they can. But this is probably the book that solidified like most of like how I sell, right? Because I've worked with lots of coaches, I've been lots of different platforms and everything else, but until this book, I always felt there was a bit of a disconnect between like how I actually sold and what is like common and spoken about like in the world. And
Hmm.
the real interesting thing is that this is written as a narrative, right? Which
Right.
bothered me in the beginning, but you find out why at the end. And
Okay.
it makes it a super easy read, super quick, right? It's compelling, right? It's a fun thing to read. And then there's a lot of value in it, at least there was for me. It's kind of like an annual thing for me at this point.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So
I'll definitely put that up next then. I've got a stack of books, so I'm just going
yeah,
to put that one at the top because sales are what I'm focused on right now. So, and have you read The Go-Giver? That's another.
I
Um,
have not. Right, you probably I'm writing it down right now.
okay.
Um,
We'll put that out there too. It's
yeah.
also a narrative. And I've actually come to like those type of business books now. In fact, I think when I write mine, I'm going to do it narrative style. I'm going to put some of the nitty gritty in there, so it won't be like 100%.
Hmm.
But I feel like the more I get into brands that do a good job of storytelling and using narrative, the more I enjoy their marketing and their
Yeah.
sales pitches. So yeah, Go Givers are around networking, but it's the good networking.
Okay.
It's not the cheesy stuff.
That's probably been recommended to me enough times at this point that it should hit the top of the list.
Right. Bob Berg. There you go. Thanks, Gabriel.
Yeah. Um,
And actually, you know
the
Lindy Chapman? I don't know
name
if you've seen
sounds
her.
very familiar.
Yeah, she's a real estate person. She was local. She's in Boston. I think she's coming back this way in
Oh,
June.
okay.
But she interviewed Bob about 2 weeks ago. He wrote the
Wow.
Go Giver. So you can actually go see him on her. If you go look at her LinkedIn lives, you could see Bob
Huh. I'll go take a
two
look at
weeks
that.
ago, I think.
What's in your stack to read right now? I'm curious.
Let me see. Let me grab number top two. Let's see. So I'm a huge book nerd for those who don't know. And so I actually will take a group of books that I have and been recommended and things I've just been wanting to read, and I'll put them in the order I'm going to read them in, just kind of based on my goals and things like that. But that way I don't get sidetracked because I'm like, here's my goal. Here's what I'm looking to accomplish. Here's the books that I've been told to read about that. These need to come to the top.
Hmm.
That way, if I get on a whim, I'm not like, well, I want to read this instead. Well, I've just left my goal track, right? Because I
Yeah.
told you, I think on yesterday's was that I'm only reading 3 books this year. I'm only committing to reading 3 books this year. Like I'm not trying to be a part of any club or anything like that. I want to apply what I'm reading. And this goes back to that concept. If I'm going to read something, it's going to apply to a goal I have this year and hopefully
Yeah.
this quarter. Right.
It's
So
it's too easy to get pulled off into randomness, right? And the thing that I've been noticing about myself is I'll start working in a direction and then I'll see something that points me in another direction, right? And so I have to really almost be hyper vigilant about like what I let into my feed and my inbox and stuff like that because I will get, oh, what if I think about that? And then all of a sudden it's a self-propelling fulfilling prophecy, excuse me.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
but yeah,
So that's the two I've got up.
Simple Truths, Brian Tracy. And
Nope.
what's the
It's
bottom
Eat
one?
That Frog. Eat
Oh,
That
Eat That Frog, the Harper Book of
because
Quotations.
discipline and sales are my two kind of areas of work this year, right? This is why we're doing this for me is
Mm-hmm.
discipline. I get up every morning, we talk about the day we roll. That's discipline for me. That was recommended. So it's a real short one.
Yeah.
I actually have a whole set of Brian Tracy books. And then I'm reading this one because I want to be more, I'll be better about using quotations in a purposeful way, not just putting stuff out there. I want to actually put them in my stuff that I'm writing to make and so this was recommended to me. I bought this from Half Price or something.
Nice.
and it's one of like the all-time bests, they say, for just like good classic meditation stuff. So I'm gonna thumb through that and see if I can mark some pages and stuff.
That's awesome. I'm reading. Oh, I need to link you the Against the Rules podcast. Well, actually, we're just talking about it now. New podcast called Against the Rules. It's by Pushkin, right? Who's, I think, also the guy that we were just talking about a second ago. I can't think of his name, the marketer guy.
That's good.
Seth Godin. Yeah, I think he's part of this whole thing because it's like a really like high-end produced podcast, and the host of it is the guy who wrote Moneyball and all that stuff. And so they're doing a season, and this season is all about coaching, right? So the first episode was about coaching, and then the second one was about the inner game of tennis, right? Which is Galloway. Amazing book. Have you read that?
No, you told me about it yesterday. It's going to have to go on the list.
Yeah. It's because I read it probably 3 or 4 years ago and was blown away by it, and then kind of put on the shelf. And then listening to that podcast, he actually talks to Galloway and talks to some other like peak performance coaches about how they do what they do and everything. And I've cracked that back out again. So I'm reading that on the Kindle, still working through Poland's How to Change Your Mind, and then I got my meditation and journaling book going on.
Okay, cool. Inner game of tennis.
Inner game of tennis, man. It is.
Right. We'll put that in the link too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And you got the new meditations one, you said?
I did, yeah. I was going to read that. So it's just a different.
Just a new edition.
Well, the translation is just different. Is what it is.
Oh, you told me that. Yeah.
And
you dropped the vowels and thuses and.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's weird because the Stoicism stuff has been making me incredibly, maybe more thoughtful about like word choices and the things that we tell ourselves, right? Because a lot of times people will use a sentence or statement or phrase and it's compelling, but it's just compelling because it's like so well known, right? So that statement, like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger thing, right? There's like a huge Stoic lesson in there about looking forward to the obstacles because they're going to make you better, right? Anybody who starts a business today didn't have to go through all the COVID stuff that everybody else had to. So, you're more prepared than they're going to be because you've done this before, right?
Well,
and so
in theory,
yeah. So a big thing about Stoicism is when you see something in your path or in your way, not to get upset or pissed off about it, but just to like accept it for, oh, this is an opportunity for me to improve myself, right? And like that's 90% of selling, right? If you can change your perception of just that, of, oh my God, this is going to be a no, it's going to suck and be terrible, and then I'm going to be to, hey, this is just an opportunity for me to practice understanding if they have pain points, right? And then get really, really intentful. I don't think that's a word. And
intentional.
Have a lot of intent about like what you're doing when you're going into meetings or anything, right? And look at it as like, okay, how can I use this to make myself better on the far end of it? And I've spent a lot of time trying to make things as easy as possible, like absolutely. But through the Stoicism stuff and the obstacles away and everything, it's like, oh, okay. Like now I'm looking towards the hard stuff, right? And like trying to get myself out of, let's just find the easiest way to do it. Well, let's go do it the right way first and make sure that like lots of people want it. And then we'll figure out how to make it easy because we'll have to at that point. So,
well, I love your post yesterday, and we'll wrap on this. I love the post yesterday about you saying success equals, and what did you say it was?
Discipline plus focus.
Right. And so I think of discipline, I think of consistency largely. Discipline also means doing the right things, but like doing them over and over and over and over and over and over. And I agree 100% with that statement. I think that's something that we can all think and ask ourselves some questions on of, am I disciplined? Am I consistent? Am I focused? And if I'm not, is that why I'm not where I should be?
Yeah, for me, you know what's weird is I was writing this stuff out yesterday, right? Trying to think about word choices and like trying to, build some statements and some affirmational stuff in my journaling that will help me, work on stuff I'm working on. And one of the things that I was thinking about was, okay, I like this idea that success is the lagging indicator of discipline and
What
focus.
is sex the lagging indicator of?
I mean, probably the same things,
Same
right?
thing.
But I was trying to think of like, okay, because discipline is not actually the word that we think it is, you and I, right? Because like I think about it as like making the hard choice and doing the thing whenever no one's there. It's kind of the opposite of accountability. But that's not really what the word is meant to do, right? So like I was doing some research yesterday and I found this word that like I love, man. Like I've been writing it down and it's been pretty legit. Resolute, right? Which means unwavering.
Mm.
Right? Like what are like I love that as a word. Like, what are you unwavering about in your business? Like, I think that that's the better word, right? So like, I just wrote that post yesterday, right? That success is the lagging indicator of those things, but like, it's kind of the Napoleon Hill deal, like that burning desire to be successful. Like what are you unwavering about? Because like those are the things that get done, and I think that yeah, I like that as a word, resolute. So
I love resolute. That's a great word. Yeah, steadfast. I have a friend that has a
yep.
whatchamacallit, an agency called Steadfast, and same idea. I loved that word when he told me what the name of his was. Steadfast, resolute, unwavering. I actually really like the word unwavering too,
Yeah.
because it conjures up waves and ocean and boat. And even though when the waves get big, you're unwavering in the storm, right? You ride the waves. So love it. Love it. Cool. All right. Well, so my challenge, I've told you my challenge. We'll wrap here. My challenge was to get you the social media layout so I can commit to that. What do you want to do today?
I'm gonna do my Sherpa newsletter today. I'm gonna do a value post. I'm going to let's see. I'm gonna finish up the learning because I've got some blocks on my calendar today for development stuff. So I'll have my 3 hours of learning for this week done today.
Okay.
I need to write my 2 pieces of content today.
Okay.
So yeah.
Is there any baby challenge in there?
Any what?
Any like baby challenge in there that you want today, or you just be heads down? I don't think that's something we have to do every day, but if there's something we know we're going to come up against, it might be a good idea to go. I got to show you this tomorrow.
I don't think I have anything that stands out like that for today. Yeah, so the Sherpa and 2 pieces of course content and the last hour of learning. So those are my big 4 today.
Okay, so where can people get your Sherpa newsletter?
Oh yeah, great, thank you. So if you
guy.
go, exactly, yeah, this is why I need your help, bro.
Yeah, that's why we're here.
So if you go to sendfox.com/smallmtn, that gets you into my newsletter. I've got different landing pages for the Sherpa stuff specifically, but that's just the easiest one to get across.
Say it again.
Sendfox.com/smallmtn. So the abbreviation of mountain.
Okay, we'll put that in the description down below. And then I've got an accountability group that I'm onboarding. 30 days, conquer one goal. It's pay whatever you want. So come ready to knock something down, and I will get you the link to that down below as well. And it's just impact over attention /30 days apply.
So I need to be that level of prepared with my links. Look at that. I'm learning, everybody. I'm learning. Awesome, man.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thanks, Bill.
All right, Bill. See you tomorrow.